We've known that. I sat in a skiff and heard from the intelligence communities that there is, in fact, a situation brewing. So we've known this for months. They are peddling lies, trying to misdirect the American people and the international community.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to follow up on something you said a moment ago. You said that there's no circumstances where American citizens cannot get to the airport. That doesn't really square with the images we're seeing around the airport, with the reporting on the ground from our colleagues who are describing chaos and violence. Are you saying unequivocally that any American who wants to get to the airport is getting there and getting past the security barrier and to the planes where they want to go?
I thought the question was, how can they get through to the airport outside the airport? And the answer is, to the best of our knowledge, the Taliban checkpoints, they are letting through people showing American passports. Now, that's a different question when they get in the rush and crowd of all the folks just outside the wall near the airport. That's why we had to, I guess, was it yesterday or the day before, we went over the wall and brought in, how many? 169 Americans. So it is a process to try to figure out how we deal with the mad rush of non-Americans, those who didn't help, those who are not on the priority list, just any Afghan to be able to get out of the country.
Waldo Riveria here. That's kind of an awkward moment. If the Afghans are being oppressed and we're letting all the people in on the southern border, why won't we let the Afghans in? Because we know what's going to happen to them. They're going to die for sure. Kind of weird, double standard, eh? Waldo Riveria reporting.
And so my guess is that no matter what, under what circumstances there's not a whole lot of Afghanis. There's a whole lot of Afghanis that just as soon come to America, whether they're any involvement with the United States in the past at all, rather than stay under Taliban rule. What interest do we have in Afghanistan at this point with Al-Qaeda gone?
We know that Al-Qaeda is a presence, as well as ISIS, in Afghanistan, and we've talked about that for quite some time.
Dumbass! 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 Dumbass!
Any rule. So what I was saying is that we have an agreement that they will let pass through the checkpoints that the Taliban control, let Americans through.
But given this, given the negotiations with the Taliban, the scenes that we're seeing, can you just fully explain why the plan wasn't to go ahead with these evacuations of both Americans and allies before the drawdowns began, before Bagram was closed, looking back several months? Because whether it was now or several months from now, there seems to be a broad consensus that the Taliban would make these gains and these would be needed at some point.
Well, yeah, at some point. But the point was that although we were in contact with the Taliban, at some point wasn't expected to be the total demise of the Afghan National Force, which was 300 persons. Let's assume the Afghan National Force.
Waldo here. Joe just said 300 people. The other day it was 360,000 or thereabouts. And I just read an article today saying that there was only 160,000 Afghan troops. So what is it there, Joe?
Persons. Let's assume the Afghan National Force had continued to fight and they were surrounding Kabul. Be a very different story. Very different story. But
what, Joe? That's not what happened, so who the hell cares? What the hell is wrong with all you people over there? This is Waldo reporting live. All lives matter. Trump 2024.
But the overwhelming consensus was that they were not going to collapse. The Afghan forces, they were not going to leave. They were not going to just abandon and then put down their arms and take off. So that's what.
And your backup plan was what? What was the backup plan? There was a brilliant backup plan, but you scrapped it because you wanted this to happen for some reason. Why?
So that's what's happened. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Why do you continue to trust the Taliban, Mr. President? Why do you continue to trust their pledges, Mr. President?